Today, our project will be about the 14th Amendment. There are four main sections talking about the rights, especially for African Americans, and all human rights.
Amendment 14, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
Hello, Dr. Flynn. Thank you for having us today. So today we are talking about the 14th Amendment. Do you feel the ratification of the 14th Amendment was essential to African American civil rights movements in the late 1860s, and why?
So I think in order to answer that question, you kind of have to look big picture. Immediately after the Civil War, you entered Reconstruction, 1865, 1877. Did it do a whole lot at the time? I think it redefined the role of citizenship and how it played in the rule of law. However, immediately after 1877, with the end of Reconstruction, I mean, you could argue that there was no actual 14th Amendment. There was no equal protection of the laws. However, in moving forward into the 1950s and arguably with the civil rights movement that started in the 1930s and 40s, into Brown versus Board in the 1950s and then following in the 1960s, it was kind of the foundation for essentially every major milestone for African Americans in moving forward. It's a real travesty that it took almost 100 years for the 14th Amendment to reach its full potential, but I think that had it not been ratified when it was, had not Abraham Lincoln, he was long gone at that point, had the radical Republicans in Congress not taken the opportunity they had to ratify when they did ratify, I don't know that we ever would have codified it into law. And so while it took 60, 70, 80 years for the 14th Amendment to meet its potential, without it, I don't think we would have made the gains that we made in, I don't want to say short, but in the time that we did.
Hello, Mr. Bachelor. You were here to discuss the 14th Amendment. What would the United States be like if leaders denied the rights of being a citizen and being able to work amongst other races who are already American?
Well, I don't think it would really be the United States the way that we know it, right? One of the main reasons that the United States is the United States is that we try and make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity. Everyone has the same chances, everyone has the same opportunities, and that you can't say someone can't do something just because they're of a certain race or they're a certain gender, or they have some sort of other disability. I think that without the 14th Amendment, you would run the risk of the United States being back the way it was back in the beginning of the country, back in the 1800s, before the Civil War. You wouldn't have those same protections of everyone has those same rights. And obviously those rights need to be enforced by the courts.
At the end of the day, we are all people. We all deserve equal rights and opportunity in the country we live in, a country we all call home. No matter who we are or what we do, we should all be open to sharing new ideas, giving love to everyone, and making a difference. As American citizens, we have a duty. Our duty is to make our country the greatest place that it can be for each and every person. Each citizen in our nation has the privilege of being able to have a voice that has the same strength and power as every other individual in our amazing land. A voice that could stand up and say what needs to be fixed, what's going well, and what we could do to make a change. Without our beloved 14th Amendment, none of this would be possible. This is why the 14th Amendment is important to us.